a couple things have happened that have just really alerted me to, number one, I'm so thankful I know who I am. Number two, I'm not going to muffle my truth. If a person takes what you say a certain kind of way, it is their way that they're choosing to take it. You can't burden yourself with that weight. So let me give an example. And let me, okay, I shouldn't, for the protection of people, I am going to tell this more like a story, and change the dynamics of the people, just so because it's a true story, but I don't want, yeah. And again, I'm going to speak my truth, but I'm also not going to just throw people out on Front Street. So let's just say you have a group of friends, okay? And you live in different cities. And you're all going to meet in a particular city where one of the friends is from. And the friend is asking, hey, what restaurants do you want to go to? Here's a couple places. And then people respond, well, I don't really like that kind of food. I don't like to go places where there's drinking. I don't like crowds. I don't like this. I don't like that. Well, then the person who suggested, hey, what would you guys like to do, responds, well, that's okay. We don't really have to do anything. We can just stay in and, not do anything. The person that heard all the opinions asked, listen to carefully what I'm saying. The person asked, what would you guys like to do? Here's a couple options. And they got stuff that they didn't want to hear and then internalized it, got their feelings hurt, and then just threw it up like, well, we don't really have to do anything. What that says to me is the people that gave their opinions, and you might be listening to this story like, well, they didn't have to be negative. No. This is where we get shit twisted. If you ask for an opinion, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, okay? If you ask for an opinion, don't get wounded when it's not something you want to hear. See, when you're asking for the opinion, but you're expecting a certain answer. Or even if someone doesn't have an answer, because let me just backtrack. If I'm visiting a city that I don't know anything about, I'm going to trust you as my friend. Hey, you picked that place. It's all good. I'm going to roll with you. I'm going to go with the flow. You see? So when I say that, I trust you and I don't even give an opinion, that can even be off-putting to someone. Well, I gave you choices. But the person that asked the question, if you can't handle the truth, and I'm not saying those comments, those opinions that were given were those people's truth. If you can't handle that, don't ask for the opinion. Do you understand what I'm saying? How often does this happen where you either will be the person that says, oh, I don't care. I'll do what everyone else wants to do. And that statement is seen as, oh God, that's a cop-out. That's what everybody, maybe if someone answers that way, they know that if they say what they really feel, it could offend. A lot of times that's what we do. We tiptoe around truth. We tiptoe around our real feelings because we don't want to offend the other person. But then what happens is there comes a point where what you have inside is going to come out in some kind of a way. And this is way off track, but if you're at work and somebody pisses you off and you hold it in because It's not the right thing to do here. Then you go home and you piss and moan at your family all night. You see, that energy still came out. My thing, oh, this is off track. But yeah, I had a couple situations where, you know how I squashed that holding in? It's not appropriate to say at work. I get a fucking witness. Excuse me, can you come here? I gotta say something to this person. If it's someone that I know that is volatile, that has lied on me before, that misconstrues me, doesn't understand me, I'm not judging them. That's their perception of me. But then when they take an interaction and go and twist it and lie about it, the way I protect myself is not to shut down. And I did many times, especially as a black woman. When we speak up, when our tone is heard, this is something coming out. We're seen as aggressive. That's a scar I had from a situation at work. I was called aggressive because I asked someone if they had something to get off their chest, get it off their chest. But the other person I was in contact talking to was raising their voice and yelling. Now, they had a smile on their face, but they were raising their voice and they were just letting me have it. That person was seen as the one that was okay. And I'll just say it. Because that person's culture, they raise their voice. But when I have a certain tone as a black female, I'm seen as aggressive. This is a separate side note, and I didn't mean to even go there, but obviously that's something that just maybe still needs a little bit of a healing. But what I'm saying is now I don't stay quiet. I speak my truth. If you can't handle the truth, don't ask for it. And so for those of you that feel muffled and there's times where you're like, I'm just going to be, this is another story. Okay. You say you don't want to go to something. People around you, they don't know that you're not doing well. You just want to be by yourself. Push, 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 push. Come and be around. Then when you come around and it's uncomfortable and everything, then you can be seen as antisocial, grumpy, irritable, which depending on the company you're in, people can call you out on that. Well, why are you being that way? In turn, the person, I'm going to just say me, who didn't want to go in the first place, but caved, didn't speak my truth and stand in my truth to say, I can't attend right now, broke against myself, went, had this shield up as like a protection. And this is all subconscious, okay, when I'm saying this. But that shield is seen as negative because I'm not my normal self. I'm distant. But then when I'm called out on it, remember I said, it's got to come out somehow. What happens? Me, I said what I had to say to some people that I knew when I said it was going to hurt. I knew it. But I kept sitting there holding it in. I wouldn't say it because I didn't want to cause negativity. I didn't want to upset anybody. But when you push, 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 poke the bear, at some point the bear might roar. And so I had to learn. I was wrong. I'm not going to say wrong, but I made the choice to go against my truth in staying to myself, got out amongst people, continued to go against myself and not say anything so I wouldn't hurt anybody. And then when it did come out, not only did it sting, but then I was out of my character because it just. So why am I saying all this? Speak your truth, write your truth, sing your truth, dance your truth, be your truth, trust your truth. That's deep. And when you are standing in your truth and you don't put it off or go against yourself, then that energy of that truth, you're not taken out of yourself. You're in the truth. You're expressing the truth. But when you deny it, you put it off, you deny it, you put it off, you look the other way, you silence yourself, it's going to eventually come out, and usually it's going to bust out, and that busting is like resemblance of you coming out of your character. You didn't want to, do it that way. But let me say this. Let's say you have a truth come and you say it, and you don't hold back. It is not your responsibility to be concerned with how a person receives it. And I know that might sound harsh. And don't get me wrong. The more you speak your truth, I've been a blunt person my whole life. The more you speak your truth and don't silence it. And I think I've come off as blunt because I used to try to hold it in so much that when it did come out, bloom. The more you practice, the more you exercise that muscle, the more, I don't want to say eloquent, but the delivery, at least for yourself, it's not going to be like you're taken out of yourself. Still doesn't mean the person's not going to get mad, wounded, hurt, whatever. But if at the end of the night, you can go to bed saying, I spoke my truth in a way that was true to me, that's all that matters. How it's taken, again, some people aren't ready to hear this. I cannot consume myself with how you take it. Now, especially if you're an influencer, you're out here on social media, you get this. Because you can say one thing and some people take it some way, some people take that. There's so many different ways people can take stuff. And you have to have the tough skin to be like, not my problem. Good, bad, whatever. I'm speaking my truth. And now, as I'm saying this, I get it. The truth will set you free. Oh my God. Like I get it all these years. I get what it meant. But now in this moment, I literally just felt it sets you free. The truth sets you free. Because when you express your truth, it is freedom. Okay, I'm out. I need to come up with a little something to say at the end of these things.